Guido Candinitti versus Dana Bacciagero, whatever his name is, Bacciagero. Whatever. That's the first undercard fight. That's what we're seeing right here. Who do you got on this fight, and why?
Well, for obvious reasons. I mean, especially this close to St. Patrick's Day, I got to go with Guido. I mean, what better than an Italian guy that lives in Argentina? I mean, come on.
Is that the only reason why you're picking him? Have you ever seen him fight?
Absolutely not. I don't think anybody has before this one, and I'm being honest about that.
I don't think he's fought. So, But here's the thing. I don't know anything about these fighters, but Guido has a unique name, and we have a guy on our network named Mike Guido, so I'm going to pick Guido Candinitti too. So we both pick Guido Candinitti for the first fight. Jamal Emmers versus Giga Chikadze. Who do you got in this fight?
I'm going Giga. Knockout. Giga.
Why?
Giga's got a nice stand-up game.
Okay.
Jamal just coming into the UFC, I believe. Very nice wrestling base, a very balanced fighter. But I think Giga's experience, especially with the stand-up game, is going to take this one. I don't see this one going the distance at all. I
got Giga too. Knockout power. I think he's going to cause a lot of problem in the middle of the octagon. And even though Jamal is a good wrestler, he is going to have problems with a guy that if he tries to stand up with him, they're both big guys. I'm going to be very intrigued to see what is going to happen in this fight, especially what we've seen Giga has done in the octagon.
As you would say, fights always start standing.
That's
so
it.
There we go.
And they end standing too, usually. Emily Whitmer versus Polyana Viana.
Going with Polyana here. Emily's always had a history of injuries, including when she was in The Ultimate Fighter. She tends to be inconsistent at times, so I'm going with a little bit more of the consistency in regards to the training, because I guarantee you she probably had some injuries during the training camps. There always seems to be something going on, so I'm going with Polyana Viana.
All right. I like Emily in this fight. I'm going to take Emily in this fight. I know she has a lot of injuries over the last couple of years, especially when I watched her on the next Ultimate Fighter. And again, I don't know what to expect in this fight. If they stand up, I give Emily this fight. If it gets taken to the ground, I give Polyana this fight. Mm-hmm. It's going to be very interesting how these two ladies are going to fight in the octagon, and what they're going to do early in the fight, where it's going to pretty much decide where the fight is going to end up, on the ground or standing up. So I'm going to take Emily in this fight just because I think it's time for her to shine, and I think this might be the fight that's going to put her on the map. Gerald Miskrad, who actually has been on our network before. Very good fighter, yep. He trains out of Wisconsin. And Deron Winn. Who do you got in this fight?
I'm going with Gerald. I think Gerald, he's got a very nice style base, and I think this is going to be the point where he's going to be kind of coming out of that shell, moving up to the next level. We're going to see him off of the preliminary cards and making a little bit more of a move to the main cards, or at least headlining the prelims on his way up there. I think he's due to start making that jump into the main card, and quite frankly, I'm surprised they haven't put him in the main card even earlier than this.
It's interesting when you look at this fight, and I know Gerald. I've seen him fight a couple of times, and he's a talented fighter. He's a wrestler and a guy that can actually stand up and pound for pound beat you in the head. Yeah, he's a balanced fighter, guy. Like what I've seen. But I don't know, man. This kid Winn, everybody keeps talking about this kid, and this guy's got a lot to prove. I saw some video about this kid before the fights, and I saw him on the thing. I forget what they do on UFC does on YouTube, and a lot of people love this
vlogs?
Kid. What happened?
Those vlogs?
Well, I don't know what is vlogs. It's not a vlog. But you're talking about blogs or vlogs?
Listen,
I don't know what it is.
You're the tech guy.
It's Unbended, I think it's called. The show's called Unbended or something.
Oh, Embedded.
Embedded or whatever it was. I've been watching, and he was actually on. So a lot of people like this kid. So I'm going to take Winn in this fight. Even though I like Gerald and I want to root for Gerald because he's been on our show, I'm going to take Winn in this fight. I think Winn is going to surprise the world. He's on a winning streak right now in the UFC, so I'm interested to see what he's going to do in this particular fight against a good fighter. Rodolfo Vera versus Saparbek Safarov. Who do you got in this fight?
I'm going with Rodolfo. I think his experience, his championship pedigree when it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he's been in the BJJ game so long. I see this ending probably second round by submission.
I got Rodolfo too. He's a great submission guy. He takes you to the ground. He's a Brazilian guy. He knows the game. He knows how to take you to the ground. He knows how to pound you. He knows how to use your body against you on the ground. And I don't know anything about Sarov. So obviously he looks like a big guy. He looks like a guy that can stand up, and he was going to want to fight you. He want to take you down. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen in this fight. But I'm going to take Rodolfo on this fight as well. Mark Madsen versus Austin Hubbard. Who do you got in this fight?
Mark Madsen, balanced guy. Austin Hubbard, young guy, just coming up in the ranks. I think Mark is definitely going to take this one. Not necessarily it may be finished, but it probably, if it does go to a decision, it's definitely going to be Mark.
I got Mark Madsen too. I think I saw him fight. I've seen him fight a couple of times in the UFC. I also know a little bit about the kid. I mean, the story behind who he is as a fighter and how he got into the UFC. It's an amazing story. Austin Hubbard is a guy that a lot of people don't know much about. He's had a couple of fights. I'm very intrigued and very interested to see what this particular fight is going to bring. And I know Eric's trying to call the show, and I don't know why he's trying to call the show, but we'll put him on in a little while. I think he wants to win the prize.
I think he wants to win the prize.
I understand, but we'll put you on, Eric, after we do our picks. I got Mark Madsen in this fight because I know a little bit about him, and I think that he is up for the task in this particular fight. Now, the big card. Jose Alberto versus Sean O'Malley. Who do you got?
Hands down, Shane O'Malley. Quite frankly, I don't even know why this is so low on their list, even though he is coming back after a bit of a layoff. Knockout artist, big favorite in this fight, and rightfully deserved. I think this fight's going to end pretty quick, first round, and then after this, you're going to see this kid just soar through the ranks.
I got Sean O'Malley in this fight as well. He got bigger. I heard that he gained 10 pounds of muscle. He's been out of fighting and mixed martial arts for almost 2 years. So yeah. I like Sean in this fight. I think they picked a good fighter to fight in his fight. So I got Sean, and Sean will knock him out in this fight. I absolutely believe that. Alex Oliveira versus Max Griffin. Who do you got?
Max Oliveira. I think the veteran, he's just gonna take over in this fight. He's had some trouble in the past in regards to some opponents with matchup styles and everything. I think this is the one where he builds his confidence back, gets back in the win column, and starts building a little bit of a streak.
You got Max?
No, Alex.
Okay, I got Max in this fight. I don't know much about Alex Oliveira. I haven't seen him fight, so I'm not going to lie to you. He's probably been on a couple of undercards. I haven't noticed him or anything. But I know a little bit about Max Griffin. I've seen him fight a couple of times. He's a guy that is up and coming fighter in his weight class. So I want to see Max win this fight. I'm rooting for the American, and I hope he wins because I want to beat you in my pick. So there you go, Max Griffin. Neil Magny versus Jingling Lee. Who do you got?
Neil Magny. I feel like Neil is just too strong.
You don't like Jingling?
No, I don't. Jinglang?
I like Jingling.
I'm sure you did. I'm taking Neil Magny. He's too strong. Striking. He's going to take him down to the ground. Probably beat him up a bit. Probably second round, ground and pound.
You don't have to go to the Arctic.
And there we go. We don't have to go to the Arctic, and that's great. So very nice. But I like Neil Magny in this fight too. I think Magny is a strong fighter. He's going to try to pulverize this kid, try to take him down and dominate him on the ground. So I like Neil Magny in this fight as well. And now the three big fights on the card: Drakkar Klose versus Beneil Baruch. There you go.
See, this is where I think the Sean O'Malley fight should have been, right before the main events. I'm going to go with Klose. I think Beneil, he's had his opportunities, you know what I mean? They've tried to give him some nice matchups for him to start building a pretty successful career. Pretty inconsistent, but I'm going to go with Drakkar on this one. The young up-and-comer, I believe he's 11-1. Solid kid, strong kid. I see him taking this fight over.
I got Dariush in this fight. A guy that he needs this fight right now. I think he's ranked 10th right now. His 10th fight.
Yeah.
So I want to see what Dariush could do, and Dariush, whatever his name is, I can't pronounce these guys' names. They're terrible pronouncing these guys' names.
But if they were boxing names, you would get them any better?
Well, they're easier to remember. Wilder, I mean, come on.
No, good point.
Man, Fury, I mean, those are easy names. I mean, these names are like Dariush and Jingling or Jingling or whatever the heck these guys' names. They're weird names.
You just have to be cultured.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's I mean.
Oh yeah.
You got, what was it, Sapararo, but you got my name wrong 4 times already.
Well, I'm very bad with names, so there you go. But once I know your name, I'll.
If I sounded like a hockey player, though, it probably work.
No, I'm very bad with hockey names.
Really?
Still, very bad, very bad. I'll butcher a hockey name. Butcher.
Okay.
All right. So I got Dariush as well. Well, you got Klose. I got Dariush. Now the 2 main event fights, the 2 big ones. Weili Zhang versus Joanna. Who do you got in this fight?
Joanna. Once again, I see the title changing. I do not see Zhang taking Joanna like she's taking these other girls. I do not see it happening. And the funny thing about this is, yeah, you could say she beat Jessica Andrade, but so did Joanna. So that's the only common link that these two have, but they were both successful over it. Joanna, she's looking to come back, get the belt back. She's tired of being a contender. She wants her title. And going over to American Top Team, training with Mike Brown, I think.
Ooh, Mike Brown.
No, hey, listen, the guy
was a great wrestler. Wasn't a great fighter in the UFC.
No, but you want to know something? If you remember, he even changed the way Robbie Lawler did things from when Robbie had that transition from Militich and wherever he was going between there, and then going over to American Top Team. Mike Brown, went, and you got to remember, Mike Brown, he was the first guy to really dominate Uriah Faber back in the WEC. You know what I mean? Smart guy, knowledgeable guy, very, very solid in his coaching and his eye to detail, and I think Joanna's going to take this fight.
Interesting. I got Zhang. I think Zhang's a bigger fighter, the stronger fighter. I think what I've seen so far, she can take you to the ground. She can ground and pound you. She'll stand up with you. This is a woman that does not stop. She pulverizes you, and she's going forward. And as much as I like Joanna has not been the same since she's lost those 2 big fights that she lost against Rose. I don't think she's the fighter she once was. So I like Zhang in this fight. I've liked Zhang in this fight. I think Zhang is going to keep her title, and I think she's going to not only beat Joanna, she's going to knock Joanna out. And now, the most important big fight, and I think the next big superstar in the UFC right now, and I think he's been a fabulous fighter, undefeated, 18-0. Israel Adesanya versus
Adesanya
versus Yoel Romero. So what do you got, Israel or Yoel Romero?
As much as I am not a fan of this man, I'm not stupid. I'm taking Israel Adesanya. Even though, and I got to give the man credit, he asked for this fight. He asked for this monster after Costa got injured and tore his bicep. He asked for this fight against Romero, and stylistically, this is not what you would necessarily call a good matchup for him. But I got to give the man credit. He's tired of getting doubted. He's tired of hearing all the smack from John Jones and all these other guys that he's lucky, this, that, all that. Especially because he had such a successful kickboxing career coming over. But I will say this. I see this kid totally going off. He's going to be that next big thing.
I think he is the next big thing.
I mean, I got to give the kid credit. You know what I mean? He's tired of being doubted. He's tired of all of the criticism and such. But you want to know something? The kid, you can't argue with what the kid's done. But I'm taking a style bender. So if you want to go against me, go ahead, take Romero.
I got Israel. I got Israel too. I think he's the better fighter. Yoel Romero is a knockout fighter. He's big. He's strong. Israel's long. He can dominate you with his kicks. His knees, the guy is aggressive. He'll take you to the ground. He'll dominate you against the cage. He's going to wear you out. He's got great stamina. Romero is a big man. He's dragging a lot of weight. It's going to get him tired in the later rounds. I think Israel's going to either tap him out or knock him out in this fight. That's what I think is going to happen. I think Israel's the better fighter, and I think he is the next big thing in the UFC.